Live. So I am here today with Meg Cronus, author Meg Cronus, and we are chatting about K-dramas as usual. And we're just going to have a nice little chat and geek out. And we're going to be talking today about Destined with You. But before we do, can you just tell me about your journey to K-dramas, how you found them, your origin story?
What was imposed, and I think that's possibly true for a lot of people, because we had to watch the whole of Netflix to get through it. And the first one I watched was with my two girls, who were at that point like grade 10 and grade 9, and it was business proposal. But we enjoyed it, but I didn't understand. It was things I didn't get. Mm. And then the next one I watched was Romance is a Bonus. And I was so confused why it was such a big deal that she lied by omission on her resume, on her CV. I mean, in South Africa, the crime is saying you've got a master's degree when you actually don't. And I couldn't understand what the crime was, like not saying you had a master's degree. And Susie Janine, who is also an author and a friend of mine, he actually lived in Korea for a number of years teaching English. And so I WhatsApped her and I said, I don't understand. And she explained to me about the levels and who fits where and where your birthday is and how it's such a big thing. I love the dramas, but I also love learning stuff. So then then I started researching this and how did the honorifics work and difficult. And now I'm a complete. And I actually just rewatched Business Proposal about a year ago, and it was even better once I knew something, you know. But no, it's a terrible obsession.
Yes, it is. It becomes, but you're right. It's like a rabbit hole, isn't it? You just have this one question: why do they do this? Why this? And the next thing you know, you've like learned all about the culture, and you're starting to listen to the music, and become an expert in how the society works.
How many dramas am I in now? I even have a book. I've even got a book that I made. Yeah, and I mean now I am 27 dramas in.
And I bet you struggle to watch anything else now, like especially American and like Western stuff.
Praise my Netflix. All it shows me is K-dramas. My entire feed, I've reached that level of perfection. My algorithm is like, let's not even try. Just go with the K-dramas. Mm-hmm. And even my husband watches this now with me. Ooh. The first one I got him to watch with me was Crash Landing on You.
Yes.
I said, it's like political intrigue. And it was fascinating. It was fascinating. He was fascinating. He would even say, let's watch ourselves now. And he'd watch. And he watched the whole of Alchemy of Souls with me. I said, stop swords in it. So then he stopped. 50 episodes the man watched with me. So and he's also used to basically, if he's not watching something, there's a K-drama on. So that's basic sound in our household is Korean being on the TV.
Yeah. You haven't started going down the rabbit hole of learning Korean yet.
Like you. I do want to, because it really frustrates me. The transliteration into English isn't really accurate, you know. And so then I often have to go back and then I look up and see why does that sound like it is, and then I see, oh, okay, like that's what the surname Lee, which can be Re or Yi, and then I went and looked up. Oh, it's a little oval with a stripe. Not even knowing the alphabet name. But I feel very, very guilty that I still don't speak Zulu in South Africa, you know?
I know, but Zulu is hard. I tried Zulu on Duolingo, and it was actually harder than Korean.
But it's a beautiful language the way everything fits together, and I just think, is it right that I try and learn some Korean before I master Zulu? Is it very correct? So, yeah. I have got a little page at the back where I write some words, so I do allow myself.
Yes. Yeah, no, if your husband isn't...
I do speak to my dogs. When we go on a walk, we only say kaja. So I'm like, eventually they will know. I go, okay, you ready? Go down. And then off we go.
Yeah. I would say if your husband is enjoying them, there's quite a lot of suspenseful and crime shows where there's a lot more action. So I'll send you some recommendations and stuff you can watch with them.
On your recommendation. But I need the romance. He knows. He knows. It has to be. The other must be tangential. I want the romance. He's a green flag boy. He doesn't mind.
Oh, you've trained him well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I must say, but I think all of them pretty much have a romance, apart from, if I remember correctly, The Good Detective is the only one I've watched that maybe didn't have a romance. Every K drama that I've watched
Boys,
otherwise
yeah,
has it.
yeah. I suppose it's just how much you want it front and center.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Extraordinary Attorney Woo, which we love, the whole family. And that's also got a romance in it. So everyone was happy. It was exceedingly sweet. That was lovely.
Yeah.
I have to admit, there's very few I will say aren't good. I have a rating system that starts at 10 out of 10, and then it goes to like 50 out of 10 and 100 out of 10. No, it's terrible. So
I just work on a very simple 5-star system. And for me, like 5 stars is, like I literally become obsessed with it and I can rewatch it and rewatch it just for joy. 4 is I'll rewatch it, but I might like skip certain parts. 3 is, yeah, it was a good show, but I probably won't watch it again. 2 is, no, I'm never watching this again. And I must admit, I've never given anything a 1 star yet. But there are a couple that I've watched one episode and gone, nah, I'll skip.
and then if it's 100 out of 10, like it's Goblin or Tale of the Nine Tails, or Alchemy of Souls, that I just like totally spazzed out about. Loved it so much. Not that I haven't finished, that I've DNF, was Coffee Prince. And I watched that after Goblin because I went and obsessively found everything that
Yes.
he was in. But I couldn't tell with the female with that. It
It
was
is.
just so hot for me, and I was like, one more time, I was gonna like. Oh,
It is very
that one
dated. And I must say,
that one.
yeah, I think watching anything before like 2010, maybe even before 2012, you have to go into it knowing that it's not going to be like the more recent K dramas. They are very dated. They have a slightly different, women are shown differently. I think, just culturally, they're quite a lot more distant from where we are than the more recent ones.
I actually have to go and watch one then, so I can see the difference. It's like the difference in romance between reading the, 2000s romance and the 1990 romance, and now. Everything has changed. What we allowed to do without being murdered by readers.
Yeah. I must say, I've had the same thing, even going back and watching like favorite rom-coms like 27 Dresses, and I find them very problematic now. They were so huge at the time. 10 Things I Loved About You, I'm just trying to think what else. No, 10 Ways to Lose a Guy. There were so many of those big rom-coms of the 90s that you look
Yes.
back on them now and you go,
They
whoa,
don't
red
always
flag,
translate
red
right.
flag.
Yeah. Yeah. You watch them and you think, yeah, true.
So it's interesting you mentioned watching Business Proposal twice and enjoying it best the second time. And there's a few of them, I must say, that I've watched a second time and actually rated them up higher on a second watch. And Destined with You was one of those for me. I was like, yeah, this is okay. And I was actually reading my review on Substack before coming online here just to refresh. And wrote that the first time I watched it, I actually thought Rowoon, as the lead, the lead male, was very wooden and like dead and non-responsive the first time I watched it. And the second time I watched it, it was like, oh, wow, now I can actually sense like the suppressed emotion. And I had a completely different experience of him second time around and loved it. I must say, I loved it even more.
After the second watching that I did now. And, they were quite mixed. A lot of people said the things weren't resolved and the writing wasn't as sharp. like analyze it. I can maybe see that. But like about that take almost always remind me is as long as you're enjoying them and you're having a good time,
Sorry,
you
your
can
audio
forgive a
is
lot.
coming
And
in and
I
out.
try and
Just
apply that. I try and apply that to my own writing, where I think everything has to be perfect. Or and I think, you know what? You watched that thing and it had a glaring hole in it, and you went, "Oh well," and you moved on. But I try and remind myself that and and sessions with you is fun. I enjoyed it. It's like smiling and then sort of like bashfully giggling. Then it's just doing the thing.
mm.
But I sit there and I just start smiling because he's doing some super cute thing. Um, then I'm happy. I don't know if I stand.
Yeah. But I have taught a workshop in the past on what writers can learn from K dramas, and of course, obviously, we love them. But there are a few K dramas that you watch and you kind of go, okay, that's a good example of what not to do. And the point case was one that I think has just left Netflix within the last week. So I was trying to rush and binge watch it up, literally up until midnight on the day it was leaving, and that was Blood. It was
Yeah.
the vampire surgeon show. Oh my goodness! It's like 20 hours of my life I would love to get back because it was a 20 episoder, and it was just I got to the end episode and was like, what did I watch? Why did I not read the reviews like before I started? Because there were so many plot holes in the final episode. It was just like completely unsatisfying ending. So yes, what we can learn from K dramas is sometimes also what not to do as well as what to do.
The thing with Destined with You that I would agree with is that they maybe put too much stuff in. We didn't need twice as much. The one thing that still sort of bothered me, even with the second reading, was the whole fiance girlfriend on the side.
Mm,
And as you know, in romance, cheating is a huge no-no. If there's even a with cheating in a book now, readers will just go online and say, can't read it, can't read it. So, and I sort of thought, did we need to have it, broken up with in the first episode? And if they wanted it to still be a complication, we could have just like not accepted it, as there seems to be the case that these
mm.
people will just not accept that we're not going to marry them. I said, I'm done. I'm just. But they dragged old Nayoon right through it. He has to become an awful villain, and I'm like, do we need to have this villainized woman,
Mm.
hating other women? It could have worked without it. It just had this bad for evil for her.
Yeah, no, I agree with you
So,
completely on that.
mm,
Yeah. I also thought on the first watch that the whole stalker suspense story felt a bit weird. It was like, you're watching a romance for the first half, and then suddenly it becomes a suspense story in the second half. But I think I've become a bit more tolerant now that I understand how they're written. A lot of these shows are not the Netflix, the ones made for Netflix currently, because I think those have a whole script written up in advance and greenlit and all that. But
that's
a lot of
Saturday as
those
well. So
yeah, but a lot
link
of those K
time as well.
dramas are written as serials as they're going along. So you can
Mm.
understand how a show can change over time,
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think how when you're writing a book, I don't know if you write in the same way as me. You start here and you're aiming for that direction, and suddenly you find you're going this direction. And because I don't plot, I'm a pantser, so I can see if you were writing it in the series in a serial form that you would suddenly get an amazing idea and off you go.
hmm
But I rather like the book. I suppose it's one of I'm a bit old fashioned. I like that melodrama of the guy racing to save her. I love that.
Oh
I
yes.
know now. I mean, like when I write, I just to make sure that she can save herself. She doesn't need him. I do
Absolutely.
like
What
the
was
whole
your
melodrama of him going, "Oh no, she's gone. Where is she?" And then getting in his car and putting his foot down on the accelerator and going off into the forest and running around like a crazy. I like that.
mm,
Oh, own it.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's nice when the heroine or the female lead is able to save herself, but it's kind of even nicer when she could save herself, but he still gets there a little bit sooner and does it for her.
No,
Yeah, I
I
think
thought it was generally really, it was really cute, very good too. When he leaned into the whole love spell thing, the whole neural coupling, and I really leaned into that. No, I love how you made me this way, and it's cute. He did it. I think he did a good job.
Mm.
Hmm.
So, what was your favorite aspects of the show?
Really cute too. I like that. I like the way she played her. Um, I say I like I know it's done a lot. The fated love from 300 years ago. We were in love. I enjoyed it. I like getting that whole Joshin part thrown in as well. Um, I read a review of someone saying they could watch it was too scary. It was too creepy.
Sorry, I think your audio is gone.
Can you hear me?
Yep, there we go. Now I can hear you.
No reason at all. It's just a fantasy life. The spells we were doing weren't, there was no dark magic or anything.
Mm.
What's going on in this show? So it's like most people. Look at my little notes.
Yeah, you're right. It was quite a mashup. It had obviously romance, it had suspense, it had historical with some of the historical sections, it had fantasy, and it had like all of these genres mashed up together.
And a love triangle on both sides.
Yeah.
Triangle attached to this. Um, so it's the office, it's a team at work.
Yes.
I didn't have the catchiness from the team and the catchiness from the girlfriend. There was a female catchiness ring in that film. Um, and it it added a lot. If they were supportive of her, okay, she wouldn't have been lonely. But I think it could have made it work without. I think they needed her to be lonely.
Mm.
That was sort of like the whole point, that she was alone. Um, because that was happening. I really wanted them to get their come up until they discovered that she was actually dating this man that they were all coveting. I also like, didn't you ever watch Romy and Michelle? It's an old movie, like a crazy rom-com thing. And either Romy or Michelle, I can't remember which one, is dating this ex-school friend who's now a millionaire. And they go back to a school reunion and everyone's like, oh, you're not really dating him. You're just making it up because he's never had a boyfriend. And then when he walks in and she is dating him, I love that kind of thing.
Mm.
It's a little beat I really like where everyone goes, oh my God, really dating him. I, I would like that a bit more. But yeah, maybe a bit less catchiness, but that's good. It didn't bother me. It's only when you sit back down and really analyze it. Find fault, yeah. I didn't like finding.
Yeah, you're talking about the background characters and her office workers and her being
Mm.
lonely and stuff. And I think, that's the wonderful way that the arc, she's got this, the main female character has this lovely arc because she starts off, as you say, lonely, and that's her whole
Mm.
thing, is that she is alone in the world. But by the end, in the final episode, they have that wedding and everybody's there together, and
Yeah.
it's like now she's part of this community, and
So,
she's,
oh, they're
I
friends
love
with,
that.
yeah. Yeah.
And I do find that's a common theme in a lot of K dramas, the sense of belonging. Community is so strong. People finding their found family or their community is a huge theme in so many K dramas.
Mm. I find the dramas I love the most are the ones with these little groups all around. I mean, like Crash Landing on You. Got the Village Woman and the Squad. I mean, those, and that's what I also loved about Alchemy of Souls. It was so long. It was the 30 episodes that I really missed these side characters. You know, like the maid who's from, and the servants in his house, and you really grow, you love them too.
Mhm.
So some of those Netflix ones where they've shortened it and they don't have the scope to put those, to do all of that extra layering. That's fine. I mean, the story is fine, but I do miss that interaction with the little teams, with the groups that aren't really pushing the story. They're just there. But that is the one thing I miss from some of the Netflix.
Yeah, especially with them going shorter and shorter, as you say, and cutting out so many of the subplots and sub characters.
Yeah, losing the sub characters. Great, not great sub characters, because I get really like focused on my main couple, and then when I write, I'm not interested in anyone else, and when I read as well, I just want to know what they do. But in sitcoms, it's different for me. Then I'm quite happy to share the space. In fact, I like to have the side characters. No.
Yeah. What I also loved in Destined with You was the male lead's parents. The fact that they got their whole storyline. I love it when shows have, and I think Love Next Door did the same thing as well, where her parents, in fact, both sets of parents there had, you start to see them as they're not just background dressing to the younger characters. Which, let's face it, again, you watch so many American rom-coms and that, and it's the focus is on the young couple, and if there are parents, they're just background. They're just there to be give advice. Whereas I love seeing them actually get their own stories, and you still see them as people who have lives and are still dealing with relationships and all of that. So, seeing that whole older generation also getting their screen time was really heartwarming for me, especially, as we get older ourselves and we know what it's like to still be dealing with stuff.
Fundamental part of most of the novel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually interesting you say we don't do in the Western side. So when I write, I'm just being Western. I don't always think about the other parts of the family, but in the K dramas, but most of them I know who their parents are. They're terrible. I mean, these poor tribal parents. No wonder they grow up so dead. They got the worst siblings who just try and stab them in the back, and the worst parents. Oh, it's just watching Perfect Crown and the father there. I wanted to throw him off the food. He took it too wide. He's so damaged. Yeah, but oh, that's what
So, what are you watching right now at the moment?
right now. Sold out on you.
Oh, yes, the new one. And in fact,
I love it.
you sent me a link on WhatsApp yesterday of you said an Easter egg, but I couldn't actually open it. So what was the Easter egg? I'm dying to know.
Maturity is played by Anya herself, who is the lead in Business Growth. Where she says to him, let's go home tonight and I've got a drama I want to watch. It's about a woman who goes on a blind date for her friend and got a roommate. And when I looked and
Sorry, your audio is gone again.
oh, really? What is this then? What is that? And they do that Melomance music from Business of that classic song. That's interesting. I mean, that's one in that episode. He's talking to this little girl and trying to tell her how to suggest her voice. She's a host for these sales camps where they sell online, but on TV. So she says to her, and that's his favorite play idol. And she goes, this Yunu from Demon Hunters.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
Still, full she's hot. And then
Sorry, your audio's gone again. Can you repeat that?
he calls Vino across the field, which is, he says, imagine he's standing at the other end of the field, calls him. And he's in the greenhouse and he's and then they replaced the straw hat with a Johnson hat, you know, with black. I just thought they're really leaning hard. It's like a bit or something, then yeah. Maybe the next one will be holding a sword.
Yeah, I love the Easter eggs that they put into K-dramas, but you have to have watched enough of them to start. I mean, I hate to think now how many I missed in the early dramas just because I didn't yet know, or hadn't seen that many. And the more you watch, the more you see.
Yeah. Well, they all are generally. But this one, it's so funny. I had to go online to then see other people fangirling about that moment. What are them? Well, let's all talk about the single moment in this thing. Saw that news. People saying, "Oh, they thought it was boring." I don't at all. And it's really to this point where I'm at the midpoint, so episode 8. It's really well scripted, and I can see all these beats that I would myself, and I'm like, "Oh, that's marked, that's perfect." You know, I guess they've had a breakup at the midpoint, which is they had a whole revealing of past secrets and a breakup. So it's kind of like putting them all together. I'm used to the breakup being much later. But I'm really enjoying it.
And that's also quite rare because I find one of the things I love about K-dramas is that so often they don't have a breakup, like the traditional third act breakup at all. Instead, you see the couple coming together as a couple midway, and then they spend the second half of the story sort of working together through their issues. Destined with You had that in a way, and so did, for example, like When the Phone Rings and What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. It's like, I just love that idea of them working together through issues rather than working separately through their issues and only getting together at the end, which is what we so often see in Western narratives.
Get to the sooner than that. They've broken up because of the past that came out. They're going to have to just think their way through it. And I'm pretty sure they're going to get back together. Like, so they have to. The next episode, probably even in this one. And then there's a whole lot of intrigue in it with product tampering and that kind of thing, and who's been doing it. So I think they'll come back together for the next one to do that. So so far, there's no else out of it.
So
I might just give it only a 10 out of
10. Only a 10 out of 10. Yeah. So do you have a particular favorite K-drama at the moment, or like of all those that you've seen so far, or a couple of favorites?
You have to say Goblin, obviously, because that really is peak. I love Tales of Nine Tails. It's all right there. I love King Eternal Monarch.
Oh yes. Oh, one of them, yes.
As happy ending as I would have. It was still happy, but I would have liked him to not have to only spend weekends together. But anyhow, it was fun. It was Crash Landing. The Crown, Perfect Crown I've loved. I was quite sad to find it all had a whole lot of controversy around it. I only found out about controversy when I was like episode 10. Then I went online and I saw these actors have to apologize, and I thought, I didn't write the thing. Pile on Bjorn was different. That man is so elegant in that one. But have you watched, you have, I know, Legend of the Blue Sea.
Oh yes, yes. In fact, I was going to recommend that to you, if you enjoy the the whole Destiny kind of vibe, but that one definitely has the dysfunctional family.
Yeah, it also has Lee Monroe in it, which is
yes. Oh yes, I'll watch anything with him, and I even sat through all of Boys Over Flowers because of him.
in the King Eternal Monarch. Nothing quite gets to that. I
Mm.
don't think I've ever seen anyone look so gorgeous and like regal. Perfect. Perfect. Like people who break your eyes, they're so perfect.
Yes. Well, clearly you and I have very similar tastes because we like all the same shows and clearly the same actors.
Look at my book. What else I love? Christmas Proposal, obviously. Um, so fun. Did you watch that?
Sorry, which one?
Tastefully Yours.
I don't think I have. No. Tastefully Yours.
One of
No,
the key
I haven't watched that
romantics.
one yet.
Both those are like total food bombs. And actually, I mean, you know how food is always such a big element in any
Mm,
K drama.
mm,
Bon Appetit, Your Majesty, and Tastefully Yours, where they are chefs. The female leads are chefs. Part of the joy is watching the food that they produce and learning about it. And it's so beautiful as well. The Bon Appetit one has the advantage of being in the past, so you also have all the beautiful hanbok costumes
mm.
and that sort of thing. Um, but if you like food, those two are great because food is like 50% of the deal.
Yeah. Have you
Cooking
watched many historicals yet?
I do love them.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah. I'm at the moment also watching Rookie Historian through Hair Young, but I'm watching three at the same time, and that one is less compelling.
mm.
So it's sort of, I'm waiting for Royal Nemesis, the next two episodes stop this weekend. It's very mean of Netflix to do that, to make me wait for the episodes over 2 weekends.
See, I can't do that. I don't have the patience. I wait for it to be all out and then I'll watch the whole thing together and binge. Sorry, your audio's gone.
Doing anything. Can you hear me?
There we go. Yes, now I can hear you.
I hate it. I'm not doing anything. I didn't know it hadn't fully dropped. So I got to the end of the campaign and went to get the next episode and it wasn't there. Like so confused. So making my way from one weekend in June to another weekend in June is not going to make sure that I buy July, which I'm going to buy anyway. But told me they thought it was to encourage rewatching or something. I can't remember the series, but I was very missed about that. So this weekend I can watch the final two episodes.
Mm,
Um, but I love Alchemy of Souls is kind of historical, but it's fantastical, fantasy historical. It's not set in real Korea.
mm,
It's set in adjacent.
yeah.
But and what I just love about that one is the guys haven't got their hats on. And much the hats. I would like to see what they look like without them, and you never get to see what they look like without them. Ever.
Oh. Yeah, I must say of the
They've,
historicals of
they've got
the
the full dress. They've all got, it's like Bridgerton, I suppose. But they're wearing all the period costume, but they've got their normal hair.
yes.
Prince in Alchemy of Souls has got the most lattice ponytail you've seen in your life. If I have black cascade like full trail comedy, yeah, so these are get to all the beautiful hair. It's not hidden.
Yeah, I must say of the historicals I've seen so far, I loved Hwarang. But I think it's been taken off Netflix now.
I've watched
Um,
that one. Yeah,
and then I watched Rawoon from Destined with You in The Matchmakers, which was fun. But if
matchmaking.
but I must say, I then watched 100 Days My Prince, which is a very similar story to The Matchmakers. It has a lot of similar tropes and stuff. And I actually preferred 100 Days My Prince. I thought it was
That's
a
on
more
my list
engaging
too.
story.
There's something in it that I want to watch. terrible. Once I find an actor I love, then I don't see everything else he's been in. I watch it all, so I don't think I'm alone. So yeah, 100 Days by Prince is on my list too, and the Matchmakers, and Lovely Runner now because of watching Prince.
Yes.
Lots of
Yeah, I think that
fun.
might be up
There's
next for me.
Mandy. Let's see what else is here. So most aren't historical, but I love historical. I love historical romance as well. So whether it's British historical or Korean, I'm there for that. 100%.
Yeah. Good. Well, shall we call it a day for today and maybe try and do this again sometime when we've watched another couple more K dramas and
I've done it enough. Here's my collage for
oh, you even do collages. Oh, that's
uh,
beautiful.
to remind me because that's the loveliest scene in Dancing with You. And I mean, it was talked about a lot. The
I
scene
have
where
a whole file with printed out, and I have like a review with who the cast is, the main cast is, and who the writers and directors are, and a bit of a write up.
but the book that I bought, which is a K-drama book, you see, but
Mm.
I, but it's A5, and I discovered that it's way too little to make myself in. It isn't so easy. The scene where she's got something through some oh yes, she's gone to the restaurant and confronted her old school friend and the ex-girlfriend and had wine thrown on her. So when she comes to his apartment, he is going paint and he puts on one of his shirts. That's classic. And then he does the whole, he appears in the doorway and he closes his eyes and he looks through the gap in his fingers at her. And then he sort of comes closer to her, but he's falling over his own things, and then he just sits into, I'm now going to kiss you mode. The kissing scene in his dressing room is it's beautiful. There's actually a lot of those scenes in this one, more than others.
Mm.
So look at it, it's about 5 or 6 scenes that I've put in here. That was really sweet. And that went from being so cold and that whole tsundere thing going, and then he became a complete simp. With the
My
floppy hair.
favorite kind of heroes. Yes.
Yeah. He went from his morning hair to nighttime hair the whole time. It was really good. It was sweet. Even with faults and if there were. I think you can still have a great time watching it. Maybe when you stop, you go, did happen to that, and hold on, if he has a curse, does his father have a curse? You know?
Yes.
Well, generation, these things happen. People's hairlines, so I assume it can happen with a curse.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, we should do this again sometime.
Moment.
Sorry?
What are you watching at the moment?
I'm between shows. So I finished Blood, and I've actually been feeling a little bit burnt out after that one because, as I say, 20 hours with like very little plot resolution at the end. So I've got a whole bunch of Korean movies on my Netflix list.
I've only done the drama.
Yeah, same here.
I was thinking maybe the movies should be done as well.
So that's what I'm going to try now for the next like week or so, is just clear some of those movies off my to watch list and try them out, see what they like.
And then you get this. Your watch list will come down first. You think that the dramas are basically almost a movie per episode.
Exactly. It takes a lot longer to clear one up. And I also don't delete them if they're a good one. I don't delete them off my list because I might want to go back and rewatch them. So my list gets very full.
Yeah, mine is the same. I have to scroll through to see which ones I have actually watched and which ones I'm still watching.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wish Netflix had, is that you could, if you could like tag them or have separate subgroups.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I would definitely have like a watched or a favorites
Like
list.
either watch
And then,
them on TV. Yeah.
mm,
And then actively watching would be good.
yeah. Netflix, please listen to us. Great. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. You're going to go and do some writing today.
I finished this episode of Sold Out on You, which I was watching before we started.
Okay. Off you go and enjoy. And see you soon.